90.7 FM WNCU, keeping good music on your radio. We broadcast from the beautiful campus of North Carolina Central University. 90 Hathaway's tune, Someday We'll All Be Free, and we have in studio the guy who recorded the CD. It's called Browne. Browne, Dan Reeves, the vocalist, and Tom Browne on trumpet. Tom Browne's in studio with us this afternoon. He's going to be with us for about a half hour. With him is Angela Lee. She's a new director at the Hayti Heritage Center. And tell us about this CD, why you recorded it, and some of the cats were playing on that cover.
That CD was a real joy. That was done back around 97, 98. And of course, Diane Reeves just sounds like butter on that song. We were talking about how it's still relevant today. How, you know, old school, some folks, it's just music. It's music that's telling the story. Yeah. It's just as relevant today as it was when it came out.
Pretty nice recording with Dan Reeves.
Oh yeah.
We recorded with a lot of wonderful vocalists. If you want to mention some of them.
Hayti Garrett was one. I did a little work with Shaka. Did a lot of work with someone who sounded just like Shaka, and they thought it was Shaka when Jamaica Funk came out.
There you go. What's your name?
Tony Smith.
Tony Smith. I looked at YouTube. YouTube's wonderful.
Oh yeah.
As far as getting your music out, and I saw the video of that. And she's a beautiful lady, and there was a lot of comments about how much she sounded like Shaka.
Yeah. I think that was part of the reason that song took off like it did.
Yeah, you brought a CD down here with you, your latest CD. We're going to be playing that close to the end of your time with us. And so we'll mention that. Plus, we have a couple of your CDs. You have in your hand Browne. We also have more Jamaica Funk, where you present music from Miles Davis. We've got milestones on here. There's a work song in here from Ned Ellie, and we're going to play those two songs before we leave with us. But your primary goal here this afternoon is tell us about your visit down at the Hayti Heritage Center.
Well,
Angela, you can jump in anytime you want to.
Well, it's a blessing to always be able to do what you love and reach out to the youth and perpetuate this heritage that we call jazz. There's so few opportunities these days because the music in the public school system has been cut back, the arts in general in the public school system. So it falls upon us, you know, whether it's through the media or through performers, to find avenues to perpetuate this music, to tell about the heritage of this music. I've partnered up with Hayti Heritage in doing a series, which some headliners are coming through over the next few weeks and months. But along with that will not just be the concert side of it, but the side that actually works with the youth and does workshops and lectures. So.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, thanks, Aasim, for having us on here. The Heritage Music Series, Tom Browne is partnering with us to present this legacy of music, if you will, at Hayti on a monthly basis, leading up to our signature event in September, which is the Durham Blues Festival. And we're really excited about it because, one, it's bringing the music back to Hayti. Our tagline, preserve the heritage and embrace the legacy. It's so apropos because we're all intent on preserving the heritage of our music, jazz, blues, gospel. And as Tom said, with the arts being cut in schools, it's even more incumbent upon us to make sure that our youth share that legacy and are educated on our music. So we're building out, bringing in extremely gifted and quality artists such as Tom Browne, and building that series out. And then we're going to expand it moving forward. It's not just for now, it's not just for this year. We're building it out for years to come. And we will bring in school groups, we will go into the schools, and we will do mini concerts, we'll do lectures, we'll do artists in residence, if you will, just a full gamut to ensure that our youth are exposed, and some of our adults who really have not maybe remained in touch with the heritage that is our music.
Well, I hope you keep WNCU Radio in mind as you reach out to the community.
Absolutely.
Also, tell us about some of these artists that will be coming through.
Well, next one, we're blessed to have Norman Connors doing the June spot, and Roy Ayers for July. So it's rolling right along.
Is Norman Connors the drummer?
He is.
Tom, that's who I saw at the Prime Smokehouse. We were talking about his time at the Prime Smokehouse, and he brought in some wonderful artists.
Yeah.
And it was not Norman Connors who I was able to see. And I don't know, maybe you didn't MC that, maybe, I don't know.
I could have been out of town at that point.
Yeah. You've had a long and varied history. You started out, I understand, with classical music. Tell us how you got involved with jazz, and also understand that you're also an airline pilot, and you still continue to keep involved in jazz and promoting it and teaching it. Tell us about that.
Well, I started off playing classical trumpet. I had won a scholarship to study under a gentleman named Murray Karpolowski, who was the principal trumpet with the NBC Orchestra years ago when, when all the TV stations had orchestras to back up and you had one take to do it right. And this gentleman played with the NBC Orchestra under Toscanini. And I just saw myself as being a classical trumpet player. When I went to college, I was introduced by a friend to an Ornette Coleman record. Don Jerry, I don't know what, but that's going about as full stream. That's going about as full stream as you can go. So I rebelled immediately. But what it forced me to do was say, okay, well, let me check out some players who are real lyrical but real proficient.
Yes.
And that's why I ended up listening to a lot of Clifford Browne, a lot of Diz, a lot of Lee Morgan, a lot of Fats Navarro. These are cats who was swinging their behinds off, but had the technical thing happening too, and just fell in love with it. Just went from there.
Now you're talking about what we here at the station and some of our listeners would call traditional jazz, but you went out to something else.
I did.
And maybe you tell us why.
The area of New York that I grew up in, Jamaica, Hollis, St. Albans, it's a tri-town area, was blessed in that we had a lot of great artists of different genres living right there. We had James Brown on one block. Right around the corner you had Count Basie that had a home. So there was always that dichotomy of flavors that was coming into the clubs. And I remember there's a particular venue in New York that we used to go in and sit in at. And you could be playing and Freddie Hubbard would walk in, or Richard Williams would walk in. So it was just that constant influence of funk and jazz that drew a lot of the younger cats at that time to just merge the forms, really. Lenny White was there, a gentleman named Weldon Irvine, who did Young, Gifted, and Black for Nina Simone, was there. And the result is we just saw it all as music. We didn't really put a label on it. We just saw it as varied avenues of this larger cosmos that we call music.
And we enjoy music here, and we're going to play some more of your music here at 90.7. This is going to be a work song off of your release called Mo Jamaica Funk. We're at 90.7, and in the studio with me is Tom Browne and Angela Lee, and we'll have more conversation with them right after this. This work song with a different beat. Tom Browne here in the studio. Tell us about this tune and this recording.
Well, we were talking about the vibraphonist on that, and he's a good friend right down the road, a guy named Roberto Orihuela, who resides in the Greensboro area. But that whole recording was for a label called Hip Hop, and I guess the name pretty much sums it up, where it was a merger of hip hop and jazz flavors, and just experimenting again, just trying different things.
Yeah. And we were talking about during the break about what you hope to accomplish when you invite the students down to the Hayti. And before we ended the break about you saying it's just music.
Well, yeah.
So just expand on that.
Well, I guess the best way to start that out would be to mention that unless you know where you've come from, the expression is you can't possibly know where you're going. Yeah. And I just find so many of our kids are willing to say, jazz is, that old time, and we don't know how relevant it is. And unfortunately, when we take that attitude, we very readily give things up. And there's other groups that are very quick to grab the things we give up and make $1 with it.
Yes.
There you go.
So I'm determined, along with Roy and Norman and these other folks I'm touring with, just to preserve the heritage and talk about it with the kids and just hopefully open some eyes.
Okay, and Angela, tell us about the event that Tom's going to be performing at.
We are so happy that we will be in performance this Friday, May 10th. 2 shows, 7 and 9 p.m. at the Hayti Heritage Center, 804 Old Fayetteville Street. Tickets are available at the window at Hayti or via e-tix online, www.hayti.org. We are expecting a very lively house on Friday, and we want everybody to come on out and have fun with us, celebrate Mother's Day weekend with us.
And tickets are cheaper than a banana sandwich.
And you cannot beat the price and the quality and the artists that you're getting for that.
That is true.
You can't buy a
Cannot
banana
beat.
sandwich for
That is
$50.
true. We cannot
So,
mention
come on
the
out.
specific price, but
Oh,
the
sorry.
price is very.
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't mention the
I didn't
specific
mention it.
price,
You
but
cannot beat
it's
it.
very reasonable.
That's
It's
right.
very-
Come on.
And we're glad that you're going to be spending some time with the Triangle community here. I understand that you're still touring even.
I am.
Yeah. So thank you for spending some time with us and take advantage of the opportunity to go down and see Tom Browne. Tom, we're going to go back to some more music. We're going to play about 2 more tunes. This one is from that same release, Mo Jamaica Funk, and this is Milestones. Plus, we're going to be playing some music from your latest release. Here's a Milestones. Tom Browne on trumpet for WNCU. Music called Milestones, music composed by Miles Davis. More music with Tom Browne on that muted trumpet from his release called Mo Jamaica Funk. And as we were listening to this, we were having a discussion about smooth jazz, and you were quite opinionated about that. Go ahead, Tom.
Don't get me started. I'm all for merging cultures and everybody contributing to the overall puzzle, overall pie. I do have a problem, however, when the definition, if you look today in any encyclopedia as to what the definition of jazz is, you will find it completely changed. You'll find it talking about having roots in part of Europe. You will find very few references to the fact that it came out of slave song, and both blues and jazz came out of slave song. You don't find that like you used to find it, and it's by design. There's a company in specific that I better not mention the name of for legal reasons. But when this whole smooth jazz music started, it was out of California, and I remember vividly they would grab a group of people off the street and sample the opinion of the people as to what's too funky, what's too urban. How can we take the edge out of it? Okay, and what you ended up with was a lot of watered down kind of melody with no substance. Hence today's smooth jazz. I mean, I've gone to some folks' shows where the audience talks about how great the saxophonist was, and I said, well, what do you mean? It was how long can he hold a note? How long can he circular breathe? So it's
Getting
just
the mental picture of who you're talking about.
yeah.
So these are the kind of things, I guess, that you'll be talking to with the kids as you
Absolutely.
present at Hayti,
Yes.
and you can expand on it, Angela, for us.
Yes, again, it's about preserving the heritage. So, as Tom said, you don't have a clue where you're going if you don't know from where you come. So, we want young folks to understand what the music really is all about, how it came to be, what the roots are, what the origins are. Because if you know the foundation, it's a lot easier to build on the foundation. And if you make sure that that foundation is sound, then you can build on it and it's going to be sustained forever and ever. If you do not know the foundation, if you do not know the roots, then it's going to be awfully hard for anything to flourish and grow from that.
How are you getting students to come down and attend this?
We are going to continue to reach out into the school communities, but we have been engaging stakeholders from the community, educators, people from different types of educational backgrounds who honestly believe that the arts are vital and who appreciate what folks like Tom Browne, Norman Connors, and others are doing to actually keep the heritage alive. We will bring artists into Hayti, and artists will go into the schools. So we're going to build it inside out and outside in.
Is information about this on your website?
It's getting there. We are in the process of branding, re-energizing and re-engaging the community
I like that.
to Hayti, and we are moving forward.
Give us your website.
www.hayti.org.
Tell us more about Tom's Performance Friday.
I cannot wait. He knows that I'm a fan, not only because I love his music and his art, but just understanding the background. I just learned the other day what really Jamaica Funk was, and it was a thank you to his hometown of Jamaica.
Ah.
So you learn something new every day. Come on out Friday night, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and learn all about Tom Browne and his roots.
Yeah, Tom, you got this new CD. Tell us about this new CD and the tune that we're going to play.
I have the biggest trouble trying to get the name across. It's not what's up, it's sup.
I'm glad you said it. Okay, and tell us about the folks on the CD.
A lot of good people. Fred Wesley, fellow Carolinian,
Yes.
Uh,
joins us on this CD, as does Groove Collective, Jay Rodriguez, Bill Ware, very, very fine vibraphonist. This was actually produced by a gentleman who was quite popular back in the 70s, a guy named Turo Nakamura, who had a band called Rising Sun. He had quite a few hits out on his own. But just someone who saw the whole idea of, hey, let's just take music back to go in the studio, do 1 take, 2 takes maybe, just play. None of this, elongated weeks of overdubbing. And so it was a fun project. I got a chance to do something I hadn't done in quite a while. If I could interject real quick,
Go ahead.
the original, or one of the earliest, for those of you who like smooth jazz out there, Grover Washington.
Yes.
Okay, Grover was playing that stuff years, decades before Mr. Circular Breather was out there doing it. So.
What's this tune we're going to play? We were scheduled for 30 minutes, and we're going to close out with this tune that you selected the first time.
It's called. It's actually has the same vibe as Nefertiti. I mean, a whole lot of miles to that. I don't know what it is, but
Because you like the music.
I do. It's called 3 Chords and the Truth.
Thank you so much for coming in. Folks, don't forget Tom Browne's going to be performing at the Hayti Heritage Center this coming Friday. He has 2 shows for you, 7 to 10, and the tickets are very reasonable. The WNCU Durham. Thank you so much, Tom and Angela.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much.
Blessings always. Tom Browne.
Okay, I'd like to
Love it.
for you, brother, for the manager.
Cool.
I'll be right back.
It's the closest I've ever been to paradise. This is. Oh,
Benny Golson.
Oh, yes.
Look out now.
I took a picture of that. Benny Golson. Yes, sir.